We are live. I don't know if this is going to be able to be repeated. Let's share my screen. Hi. I'm trying to share my screen. 1 second. Let me see if it's here. Should be this one. I can't see if it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me just place this down now. Oh, maybe I am. Let me just mute this. That sound coming from. I've never done this, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but okay, let me see. If I update it, I don't know if the video is out. No, the video is not out yet, but let me see if it changes. Yeah, it's changing. So here's the board. They, for whatever reason, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Let me just close this window. Yes, we can. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I don't know if you can see my screen, but I'm supposedly sharing a screen from the Onewheel website, and it seems like the board is already out. There's no video yet, no launch video. It's still on the mini bike, so I don't know if this was a mistake or what. But if we go to onewheel.com, we get Rally XL. So yeah, let's see what this is all about. Perfect ride for every rider. It seems like it comes with the Rally Edition rails, the recurve rails. It's still blue. We have a GTS motor in here. And yeah, tire seems big as heck. I don't know if that's a 6-inch tire or not. Yeah, it is the easiest thing they could have done without actually giving us anything. So it says 28-mile range. I'm guessing the battery is bigger now. Let me open up the GTS on a different tab to compare GTS series. Okay, so the GTS used to have a 25-mile range, they said, 16 to 25, and this one apparently is 18 to 28, so I'm gonna guess battery's a little bit bigger. So I don't know, shop now, I guess. The pinnacle of one-wheel performance. That price is very steep. $3,500 is a lot. So we have a video of them riding the thing, some uphill, some jumping. Okay, so it's a GTS. Now what's the difference? Okay, bigger, stronger, better, mind-blowing performance in serious terrain. Footpads seem to be the same. They look like lowboy footpads. That tire, oh, they copied the Enduro tire. They added some lines here. 113 could be exciting. 113 volts, you mean? With a bigger tire, upgraded power electronics, and wider stance, Rally XL pushes the limits of what's possible on one wheel. Can't wait to see where people go with it. Yeah, you can't wait for people to spend $3,500. 50% more torque. A tuned controller on the Rally XL ups the torque by 50% over stock GTS series, unlocking off-the-line speed and insane hill climbing abilities. So basically, they're saying that you get a new controller, and everyone that has a GTS is now outdated again. So if you bought a GTS last week, you have 50% less torque than this board. 13 volts could have a major performance boost. Yeah. I mean, I have about the same torque as a GTS with any VESC board. Like the XRV with the Indy pack has a lot of torque. The XR with the stock pack actually had a lot of torque. Any GTV has just as much torque as a GTS. Basically, any VESC board can compete with a GTS on torque. So it made no sense that a GTS being 113 volts didn't have like crazy torque compared to VESC. Okay, so wider stance increase from 20 to 21 inches. Well, this is not a board for short people like me. Seems like they just made the rails longer. That's probably for the bigger tire. Okay, so yeah, all it's talking about here is just the torque. Wider stance increase, yeah. Upgraded P50B battery cells. Okay, cutting edge P50B battery cells add 11% more range and unlock additional power above and beyond of what the other S-series boards offer. So it's okay. So it's the same battery configuration, which I think was 27 in series and one in parallel. Just that this time, instead of using whatever cell the GTS has, it's a P50B. Now, the P50B cell, if I remember correctly, can give you a lot more amps. So this is basically where the torque will come from. One wheel is like, I don't know, 50 to 60% of the capacity of the things that they come up with. So they just went for a bigger cell. Okay, big tire for big lines, bulking up to 12 inches per 7/6. The new Rally XL tire increases sidewall for bump absorption, maximizes ground clearance and stability, and enlarges the contact patch for extra traction, even in the most challenging terrain. Now, I remember I read a comment yesterday that said something like, this is not going to affect people going into race for the rail, but this completely affects race for the rail unless you can race with this board. I think it's a little unfair that the factory team can, participate in the competition using a board they've been developing and they have had practice with, especially if you have riders that only ride stock boards. And just uploaded. Okay, then let's go watch that instead. Okay, we were left at the big tire, so let's just go to the thing. Introducing Onewheel Rally XL. 9 minutes. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, by the way. And jump through the website.
We're wild.
I don't want to go back to the GTS.
Today, the biggest and baddest one wheel is getting bigger and badder. We spent a lot of time working with the factory team, really getting their wish list and building out the board that they want to have to push the limits of trail riding. It's been awesome to work with them as we've made all the improvements on both the mechanical side and on the electrical.
This guy always wears the weirdest shirts. I don't get it.
Side, and of course the firmware to deliver the best ride experience we ever have.
There's definitely no going back after riding this board.
You can ride the GTS and Apex all day long, but you're still just not going to get the output and like the feeling. The traction that this provides is so significant that it just changes your ride altogether.
Today, we're introducing the GT XL.
It's gonna be a mouthful saying GTXL now that we have X7s and X7s LR, which is long range, and X7 HS, which is, or high V, high volt, no, supercharged. It was X7 SC. These naming schemes are going crazy, but whatever. GTXL or BTGT would have been better. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Best racing would be wild. Comparable. Well, yeah, I mean, a Vesk with 113 volts would be sick, but I think the Vow custom board has like 1,000 watt hours of battery. This is way too loud. Okay, that hill looks massive.
Unreal.
Oh, they brought in this guy. That's cool. Oh man, I'm so happy for him. He has great videos on YouTube. He does tricks and all.
We took our flagship GTS Series Rally Edition and we upgraded it across the board. This is the first time that we've actually made a bigger one wheel than the original, with a larger tire, a bigger...
GT was already bigger than the XR. I don't know what you're talking about, but you probably mean the tire, so okay.
And upgraded our electronics, and that really brings it closer to the vision of snowboarding on powder. At the heart of this thing is the tire.
I think it's funny how they took the stripes from the enduro tire and brought them to the performance tire. I mean, it was bound to happen, I guess, but I don't know. Feels off.
We've got a 6-inch hub and the 12-inch tire. A bigger tire gives you more sidewall, more stability, a bigger contact patch, and when you combine that with more power, it makes everything easier and more fun.
It's a huge difference in traction. You know, with the GTS, we could have just made it more powerful, but past a certain point, like traction really becomes the limiting factor.
You actually can with a firmware update. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on, man.
With this, we get a lot more traction.
So you're able to ride the same tire pressure, but it just feels like a lower tire pressure because it's displaced more in a larger tire. Being able to charge through really chunky stuff and know that you're going to be on your board at the end of it because it's just so stable is amazing.
Bigger tire was sweet. I like to ride my tire at a higher pressure, so it made...
He wore the chillest shirt. Yeah, kudos to him. Good job. Good job there.
Going over roots and bumps a lot easier, more approachable. I was less afraid. I think more than anything, this board has helped build a lot of confidence. It's showed me what I'm actually capable of doing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about batteries. So this has a 113 volt powertrain like the GTS series, but we're using the new P50B cell from Molicel. This is the state-of-the-art 21700 cell. It has the highest power. It has the most capacity. So that translates into more power, more torque, and more range. With the new cells, you're going to get about 12% more range than a GTS series.
This is the biggest hill I have ever done or even attempted. And
that's insane.
This board is literally pulling me. This is insane, actually. Power difference is incredibly noticeable. I struggled to get up hills on the GT, and then when I purchased the GTS Rally, I started to be able to climb. I felt like that was already a huge improvement, and I was able to keep up with my crew in New York. Now, with this GTS Rally XL, I can keep up with every...
But dude, it's a full GTS Rally XL. Like, we're going into the Sony WH-1000 XM3 naming scheme now. It's just too long.
Everybody going uphill, which is insane. Braking capability, unreal. Woo! Okay. Holy hell. Wow.
What are you most excited about?
Probably the brakes. We've been able to climb steep stuff for a while with the GTS, but the ability to turn around and go back down a steep hill and stop and like keep a slow speed down it is just going to open up a whole lot of terrain.
I mean, yeah, that's a weird thing to be excited about. Cool.
Gassing uphill. It's so crazy. It's got so much torque, way more power, way more juice, freaking way more style.
I don't know what's going on with the audio, but
The GTS series provided a lot more torque at speed. This rounds that out with more torque at low and medium speeds and more torque at high speed. Taking the GTS series as a baseline, 50% more torque than that. So you're really extending the range of the board. It's giving you the ability to rock.
I don't think the cell difference is enough to justify a 50% torque increase. I think that's just firmware, man. It's hard to swallow that they forced GTS riders behind a paywall for that torque. It seems unfair.
Crawl, to climb up hills, to have absolute control when you're descending tech sections, while also having the high-speed performance of GTS series.
When you thought it couldn't get any better, and it did. Yo! No resistance up this hill, just power the whole time.
All right, so we know that the Rally XL has 50% more torque than the normal S series, and a lot of that is at low and medium speed. So we're going to do a off-the-line acceleration test to see how noticeable that difference in torque is. You ready, Mercedes?
Acceleration test.
The XL is just so much faster off the line. It really holds you up. With the GTS, you just kind of have to hold back a little bit is what it feels like. The feeling of
Kind of hard to do an acceleration test when you want people to buy the more expensive board, isn't it? I mean, there's some bias here. I'm not sure that
power
good
on the
marketing
XL
scheme.
is just absolutely incredible.
Rails look
The board is
nice.
stretched out, of course, to make room for the larger tire. It uses the recurve rail geometry, and we also lowered it a little bit to comp out some of the extra ride height of the additional tire, but we did it in a way that you actually have better approach and departure angles. So it's really the perfect balance of a little bit better ride height and a little bit better ground clearance.
Oh, they
with
did the
more
same thing they did with the
balance of a
XRC.
little bit better ride height.
You can, yeah, the mounting points are not in the middle of the rails. They're a little bit up so you're not, wait, what? That means, yeah, so they lower the foot placement to be more centered with the tire, kind of like the X7 rails do. Yeah, they took it from the XRC. They probably tested it, loved it, and said, we have to do this with every board, which is a way you can get the WTF feel without actually doing WTF rails.
And a little bit better ground clearance with the more stability of the new tire. It's an excellent setup for riding any kind of trail.
What was the thing that took the longest in terms of like the deliberation to get to where we liked it?
I would say, aside from the firmware, the second longest thing would probably be the rider height. We adjusted that a few times to get it to feel basically like perfect for the board. So it definitely still feels different than our other boards. It takes a little bit of adjusting. We wanted you to like feel stable and to feel confident as soon as you stepped on, that it wasn't gonna, you weren't gonna hit some kind of rock and tip one side to the other.
So with the higher
Yeah, that
ride
makes
height,
sense.
we had to readjust the recurve angles. The back's pretty similar because it was already at a mellow angle, but the front's brought up a little bit more just because you don't need the severe of angles when you're higher off the ground.
Okay, so they said they changed the angles because of whatever reason, but that's probably so that these rails do not work with the original GTS, because I'm guessing they will probably offer a service to turn your GTS into a GTX XL. Yeah, into a GTS Rally XL. Like they did with the GT and the GT recurve rail, if anyone ever bought that.
You get that effect through the tilt of the board.
Wow, nice
Since this
job.
is the pinnacle of our lineup, people might think this is only for racing, but anybody who's riding one wheel can benefit from more power, more torque, a bigger contact patch, and more stability. It's really a great board for anyone. Obviously, it's going to attract the high-end riders, but everyone benefits from the new technology in GTXL.
I think this is a performance board for sure. However, if you are a larger person, somebody that might feel like they need a little bit more support, this is also the board for you. This can give the average rider a lot more confidence to try and tackle new environments, new terrain, and it can also improve your performance as an elite rider, somebody that does push themselves to the limits. This will protect you and keep you safe while you're doing that.
Yeah, that's cool. With the audio.
Going back to the
whatever.
GTS from this kind of feels like going back to the GT from the GTS. Personally, I'm not going to choose to do that just because I am hungry for the power and the speed and all of that. But as an everyday rider, there's definitely use cases for all of those.
Anybody that's serious for going off-road and hitting some intermediate/advanced trails, there's no going back from this board.
That's
The
cool.
GTS series line has always been about pushing the limits of what's possible with one wheel. And with this product, we push the limits across a lot of different dimensions. With the bigger tire, more power, more range, a wider stance, this thing is going to take people way far out onto new trails, explore the world in ways they've never been able to do before. One thing we're really excited about this is that we're able to bring it
I wonder if that hill is the same hill that Sordato uses in his overheating videos.
to market at just $3,500. That's the same price that yesterday the regular Rally Edition was. Now you're going to get all these upgrades at the same price point, and we can't wait to see what people do with the new GT XL.
Okay, so that's it. That's the video. That brings an interesting question, which is how much is the GTS Rally now? We'll see it. Oh, look, they have numbers here. So larger 12-inch tire, upgraded electronics, P50B cells, 50% more torque, which is stupid because you can get torque from, you know, a software update. You know, you have the same voltage, so you should be able to get the same torque. The cell can probably output more amps than the other ones, but feels like a paywall. They always do this kind of stuff. 11% more range. I work for engineers, so yeah, GTFO VESC kit cells will get a bump. Yeah. that's probably, I mean, GTS riders just got outdated now. I'm sure a lot of people bought these boards yesterday, and well, not yesterday. Yesterday was the announcement. So 2 days ago, some people bought GTSs, and they're now, oh my god, GTS XL FO. We need a new naming scheme. Okay, so I don't know how you measure cushion. I'm gonna guess if you go by volume of air inside the tire, you get 23% more volume or something. S-series motor, mind-blowing power band, NSK bearings. So basically, it's GTS with new cells and longer rails. Wish VESC wasn't so expensive. Wishing my stock XR could do half those trails. Okay, so that's the thing. If you have a stock XR or you buy a used XR for about $600, you can build yourself a great board for less money than this. Let's say you get it for $600. You get an XRV kit, that's $1,100. Then you get in the speed control spec, which is, I don't know, you get the P50B cell to, you know, compete with that. You rack up to $2,400. Then you buy the MT hub and a big tire, and that's about, I don't know, $700 more. You have a BTG 75-volt P50B battery board with a big tire that can go about maybe 30-40% longer than this one, and you can probably get as much torque as this one has. Top end speed, actually it might be faster. Top speed might be faster because the tire is bigger when compared to my board, but still, you spend like $3,000 and you get and you save yourself $500. Anybody? Oh, I forgot. Before I go back to this website, I want to comment on this video because I want to know if people will be able to race this. Can you race this at Race for the Rail? Because I don't think it's fair that they release this board like a week before Race for the Rail. And if you can race with this board, all the factory team guys have had a lot of time to race with it, to try it out because they developed it. And if you are a racer and you only race stock boards and not a BESC board, you have never tried a BTG board, and this is a BTG board. So you got to spend $3,500 to get the same setup as the pro riders or anyone who has tried this board before, and you have a week to practice. I don't know. I don't think it's fair, but what do I know? Hopefully in a couple of years, XRF kits will be available for around $300 and maybe a $600 battery. Yeah, I mean, as time goes on, prices will drop. I'm hoping that happens too. Basic 20 STP build was getting close to $2,800. It's almost worth buying a bow. Being in Australia, there isn't much from work. Oh yeah, if you're from Australia, yeah, you're just like me. I'm in Argentina, so I have about a 40 to 50% markup on anything just to get it here. So it gets really, really expensive. Engineer's battery box plus harness will be a ton cheaper than a tour box plus custom harness. I mean, yeah, the IndySpeak is plug and play though. It has everything, but it is expensive. It is $1,300, and the Fungi battery is only $600. So for $1,300, I think you can get a Thor 301 and a stock 20 S2P battery. Well, the standard 20 S2P battery, and you will need to rewire your stock XR motor to work with the Superflux plug. But it's not plug and play. So yeah, if you are do-it-yourself inclined and you can build your own stuff, you can get a better board for a lot cheaper. So okay, back to the website. I was somewhere here. This more voltage, yeah, I mean, sure, if you compare it to the other boards, but okay, custom shaping, that's all the same. Compatible with GT, yeah, well, it's a GT. Features and specs, upgraded power electronics. I'm sure that when they tear this thing apart, it's gonna look the same as the GTS controller. Race axle bolts, yeah, that's from the XRC. They learn from that. The tire is big, the motor is the same, so they just enlarge the rails. P50, longer platform, cool. Designed, assembled, and supported right here in the USA. Yeah, that's cool for Americans, but not as cool for people outside the United States. Okay, so I clicked on purchase, and basically they knocked off the Rally Edition for $300, and it's $250 less, the Rally Edition. So if you bought our GTS Rally 2 days ago, they just took $250 from you, I guess. But this is how it goes with Onewheel all the time. So an S series is $2,900. Then you add $350 more, and you get recurve rails basically, and then you get a BTG for $600 more. No, I don't have. I would never buy this board. I would try it, but I'm not buying this board. I just want to see what the purchase experience would be like for you guys. In the box, GTS Series home charger, black Mac handle Pro. So they have the bundles, XL free ride. You get free ride bumpers, which is their bank bumpers, and a charger plug, $5. You know, this is an offer. I mean, you're already spending $3,500. They could give you a stupid charger plug, for God's sake. XL Summit, whatever, a hypercharger, and an XL Epidem. I don't know how you say that. So for $4,000, you get a GTS with a big tire and the full system base FSD thing for hooks, their hook system. Wow. Okay, $4,000 is a lot. It's a lot. You can get almost 2 ADVs for that price. That is insane. No, well, I wouldn't buy this. I would try it if you want a big tire. This is the easiest way to get it. I don't see a service to change your GT to a GT XL. Seems like you have to buy a new board outright. Let's see if boards, compare, accessories, support. Maybe it's here. Service. Okay, so you type service and all you get is battery modules. Or story, compare, apparel, race for the rail, dealer support. Yeah, it seems like you can't turn your GTS into a GTS Rally XL. They don't offer the, maybe if I go to parts of accessories, GTS series. Because maybe, okay, what if you want big tires and you don't care about the extra torque or the different battery? You probably want just the rails to use a bigger, a bigger tire. Let's filter this for GT. Oh, it's okay. So we're in GTS series. We have footpads, FSD system, bumpers. I don't see rails here anywhere. Didn't we used to have like the rally rails set apart here, so that if you bought the standard GTS, you could switch? Let's see, GT. If I go to GT, rails should be here. Rails. Rail. So there's rail guards and rail guards. There's no rails. Seems like they are not offering the service to change your rails to recurve rails. Onewheel, recurve. They only sold the service to swap. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The service to swap. Let me, if I click swap, if I type swap, motor, Onewheel, recurve, rails service. Let me see if Google can. GT recurve rails swap service. Whoops. We couldn't find what you were looking for. Seems like they're not offering that anymore. Maybe nobody bought it. GTS series recurve rails swap service. Whoops. We couldn't find what you were looking for. So seems like you're shit out of luck. Seems like you can't swap rails anymore. Yeah, that's it. That's the official, the official link. So disappointed they didn't make it its own class of board and just got lazy making another GT variant nobody really wanted unless performance is close to VESC. Performance is gonna be close to VESC actually. When I tried the GTS, it felt pretty much as powerful as any VESC board that I've tried. Maybe the X7 and ADV are a lot punchier or better, but it didn't feel like your usual FM board. It's capped at 25 miles per hour, and you still get your Onewheel signature motor crunch and the noisy motor when compared to Vesk, because Vesk is just as silent as heck unless you like UFO noises. But yeah, GTS it's like the power wise, it's the best board they have, and I don't recommend it because it's just too expensive. You can get an X7 for $2,200. You can get an ADV for $2,200, and the ADV has twice the range this board has. You don't get the accessories or the same rail or aesthetic, but it is a good board. And the X7 is an XR, so you can make it look as whatever you want. But yeah, it seems they dropped their service. So if you have a GT S series already, you can't purchase these rails separately or the service to swap rails for in order to use a big tire. And I figured GTS buyers would actually opt for that, would swap their rails instead of buying a whole new board, which I don't know if the PORTULIVE sells BTG GT rails. GTS, they probably do. GTS rails, yeah, but the WTF, you need GTS dovetails. So it's probably this one. GT, okay, recurve compatible. Dovetails, WTF, and you get extended. Okay, so if you already have a GTS and you want recurve compatible rails, you can just purchase the PORTULIVEs for $450, and you can use the new tire. Oh, do they sell the tires separately? Accessories, GTS, tires on supply. Let's check out if you can buy the tires separately. GT Performance Tire, Pine Performance Tire, Pine Tire, GT Tire, XR Tire, it's a Classic Performance Tire. GT Tire is $42, man. This tire was so bad. $4,000 Australian dollars for a vow with the possibility of twin battery and controller inside the Superflux. I think you mean the Canon Core. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot better to just go with Stanley's boards than to spend money on this, especially if you can buy locally because Stanley's in Australia. So if I click on the performance tire, you have threaded 6-inch and slick. Seems like the big tire from Onewheel is not for sale. It will probably be added, I don't know, a month from now. Because people who buy this board are gonna want replacements, but it's not for sale right now. So yeah, if you already have a GTS and seems like you can't just purchase the GTS XL rails, you can just get these rails which are compatible from the PORTULIVE and buy any big tire that you wanted to ride. So yeah, we've been here for 38 minutes. I'm gonna end it now. Thank you for tuning in. This was fun. This is a first for me. Apologies if it didn't sound well. I'm still getting used to this stuff. So yeah, it was fun. I don't know if this ends up in the YouTube channel. I think it does. But anyways, it's been fun. If you liked what they showed, just go ahead and go purchase your new GTS Rally Edition XL with the biggest tire. Should have just been a BGTS and called it that. That's actually shorter. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. See you on a new video, and that's it. Go ride. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in at 3 a.m. I appreciate it. You go to sleep now. Have a good night. See ya.